I was wondering if you have any kind of details or information about who were the main people who, contributed to the introduction of chakras.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good example of that shift from like the arboreal to the rhizomatic kind
Mhm.
of approach, where I don't think there was necessarily one person. I think that Takata was teaching Reiki to many people who already knew about chakras. And so I don't think there was one person who was like, oh, and now chakras are Reiki, and now everyone from that lineage has chakras. I think it happened in many different times around the same period in the late 1970s and early 1980s. One of the influential ones is John Harvey Gray, who was
Mhm.
one of Takata's 22 master students. He had previous knowledge of chakras, and apparently in his book, Hand to Hand, he mentions that he, I think, spoke with Takata about integrating chakras, that he has his own kind of approach, and he calls it, let me actually see if I can pull it up. Yeah, he called it the Usui Gray Integrated Reiki System. And he said that Takata approved of him doing that. Um, and so he was an influential early person. Another one was, I don't know if you know the name David Jarrell. He wrote a book called Reiki Plus. So he explicitly, and this is interesting, that both, I think, John Harvey Gray and David Jarrell said, I am changing the system, right? So the Usui Gray integrated Reiki system, Reiki Plus, right? That these are, I'm not just teaching what Takata taught me, I'm adding to it. And so I think there was, in that first generation of people teaching chakras in addition to Reiki, that there was an explicit calling out that this is not just a transmission of what I received from my teacher. I am consciously adding to it. And I think that recognition was kind of lost over time, right? That now people say in Reiki, we teach, we treat the chakras, right? Reiki balances the chakras. It's a kind of a common thing to hear.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think over time that recognition that this was an addition to the practice has been kind of
Mhm.
low. But yeah, I think Gray and Jarrell are two of the early figures I know. Robertson was likely also teaching chakras. I have to double check my notes on that. But
Right.
Arthur Robertson, I think, is again, one of the most influential people in terms of what we think of as like Western Reiki around the world. The Usui Tibetan system, that's him. Some of the kind of starting to add additional symbols. I think he might have been the first. Um, yeah.